Political expert Keith Leslie joins us now to break down the weeks ahead. And Keith, as an observer, has this election so far played out the way you expected it to?
Well, yes. I mean, once it eventually got called, the Liberals, started expanding their lead, and it seems that the trend has been throughout the election. The Liberals are getting just that little bit further ahead. The Conservatives, though, are still doing pretty solidly, and it's become a two-horse race. So it's just the two main parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives, that are in this at this point. The NDP has virtually collapsed. But spelling out with the Liberals, the lead seems to solidify virtually every week as people become more and more comfortable with Carney as the man to take on Donald Trump, as opposed to Poilievre.
How different would this campaign have looked had it not been for everything that has unfolded with Donald Trump and the tariffs?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, but if you think back to January, I mean, the Liberals were on, they were dead. The paddles weren't even coming out because they were just going to get slaughtered in the election. But then, of course, Justin Trudeau resigned. Donald Trump got inaugurated and started talking about tariffs. And Carney got elected Liberal leader and, did very short time, 9 days as prime minister before he called the election. And people seem to like Carney more than they like Poilievre. It just seems to be a personality thing, and the campaign has seemed to spell out where Poilievre, despite his attempts to smile more and to be more open with people, he still seems to get quite petulant with reporters, and he can't stop attacking Carney when Carney's basically staying on the high road throughout the election.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the various hits and misses of the campaigns, where their respective campaigns have done well and perhaps not so well so far in your mind.
Well, I think the Conservatives actually have a really good campaign, except for the Trump issue. They can't seem to pivot onto that. But the Conservatives come out every day with a new policy. A lot of them are addressing the affordability issue. They're addressing veterans. I mean, they've got some really solid policies they're putting out there. They're putting Poilievre out every day, although they're limiting the number of questions and how many reporters can get access to them. But they're solidly on the policy thing, which if the election hadn't had Trump would have really been to their advantage, of course. But the Liberals seem to be able to play it mostly that Carney's the best man to take on Trump. He's also putting out some policies, promising tax cuts and promising to get rid of most of the carbon tax and this sort of thing. So he's got some popular policies, but I think overall the policies of Poilievre and the Conservatives could be more popular. But when it comes down to who do you want to be prime minister, the polls seem to think that Carney is far out ahead of Poilievre on that particular question.
And when the parties look at those polls with 2 weeks out to Election Day, what do they have to focus on through this final stretch?
Well, the Conservatives have to do something to gain some momentum. I mean, the Liberals seem to have all the momentum. As I say, though, it's a fairly close race. I mean, there's only 5 to 6 points separating the two main lead parties. And so that means there's still, even though there's only 2 weeks to go, or a little over 2 weeks, that things could change. And the debates, of course, next week will be pivotal. A lot of people really don't pay a lot of attention to an election campaign until the debates come in. So I think that's going to be a chance for most Canadians to really assess these leaders head-to-head, face-to-face. And that's where we'll see if there's any chance that the Conservatives can, make some gain and start getting some momentum back. It'll come after the debates.
All right, Keith, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.